Here's what nobody warns you about. The moment you stop contacting someone, your mind may begin to want them even more. You know the relationship was unhealthy. You remember the confusion, the waiting, the pain. And still, you feel an almost physical urge to send just one more message. But listen carefully. That urge does not prove they were your soulmate. It proves that your brain learned a powerful pattern. No contact removes the next reply, the next apology, the next sudden burst of attention, and the next chance to feel chosen. Your rational mind calls this freedom, but your emotional system may experience it as the sudden loss of a reward. That is why silence can feel unbearable before it begins to feel peaceful. Romantic attachment activates brain systems involved in motivation, attention, and reward. After rejection, even a small reminder of that person can reactivate those systems. This does not mean heartbreak is medically identical to drug withdrawal, but the comparison explains something important: why your mind keeps reaching for someone, even when you know returning would hurt you. Your brain does not miss only the person. It misses the routines, the expectations, the emotional signals connected to them. A morning message became a cue. Their name appearing on your screen became a cue. A certain song, a familiar street, even a particular time of day. And when the response disappears, the cue remains, but the reward never arrives. That gap creates tension. Your mind begins searching for a way, any way, to complete the old sequence. So you check their profile, you reread old messages, you invent a harmless reason to contact them, just this once. And for one brief moment, checking brings relief. But that relief teaches your brain to check again, and the loop begins all over again. This pattern becomes especially powerful when affection was unpredictable. Consistent warmth creates a sense of safety. You know where you stand. You do not have to fight for the next moment of connection. But when closeness constantly alternates with distance, every good moment begins to feel rare, uncertain, and incredibly important. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. The reward arrives sometimes, but never on a reliable schedule. And uncertainty keeps you trying, because somewhere inside you, there is always one more thought. Maybe the next attempt will finally work. One kind message after 3 cold days can feel more powerful than ordinary kindness given every day. So your mind begins chasing the return of their best version, the warm version, the attentive version, the version that made you believe everything could still change. You stop responding to how the relationship usually felt and begin responding to its rare, rewarding moments. That is why memories become selective after separation. Your mind highlights the reunion, the tenderness, the moments when you finally felt chosen, and quietly edits out the waiting, the confusion, and the emotional cost. No contact interrupts this reward schedule, but it cannot erase the expectation overnight. At first, your brain still believes contact is possible. You feel distracted, unsettled, almost desperate to create one small exception. You tell yourself you only need closure, one explanation, one calm, final conversation. But if every final conversation opens another emotional door, it is not closure. It is continuation. The next stage often feels different, not dramatic, not overwhelming, just empty. Without the constant checking, the waiting, the monitoring, you suddenly notice how much space this relationship occupied inside your mind. And sometimes boredom feels exactly like missing them, because chaos had become stimulation. When your body has adapted to anticipation, peace can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. This is where many people break no contact, not because the relationship has changed, but because the silence feels strange. So before you send that message, stop. Name the exact feeling you are trying to escape. Is it loneliness? Uncertainty? Guilt? Rejection? Boredom? Or the fear that they will forget you? A feeling becomes easier to manage when it has a name, and when you separate that feeling from the person. Then delay the action. Do not demand permanent strength from yourself. Simply say, I can reconsider this after 20 minutes. Because an urge rises, it reaches a peak, and then it falls. It is a wave, not an instruction. During the most vulnerable period, remove the easiest cues. Archive the conversation, mute their updates, move the photographs, and stop asking friends for indirect news. This is not childish avoidance. You are changing an environment that repeatedly activates a learned emotional loop. Now replace the old sequence with one specific action. When you want to check their profile, stand up, drink some water, and send a message to someone who feels safe. When the evening feels empty, do not wait for willpower to appear. Choose your next activity in advance. Every time you complete a new action, you weaken the automatic path that leads back to checking. Now write 2 honest lists. On the first, write what you miss. On the second, write what the relationship actually cost you. The first list respects your attachment. The second protects you from remembering only the rewarding moments. And do not use shame as motivation. Calling yourself weak creates more distress, and distress makes immediate relief feel even more necessary. Use more accurate language instead. Say to yourself, my brain learned this pattern, and now I am teaching it something new. Recovery does not mean never thinking about them again. It means choosing what you do when the thought appears. At first, the thought may control an entire hour. Later, only 10 minutes. And eventually, it passes through your mind without controlling your behavior. If the relationship involved abuse, stalking, coercive control, or danger, no contact may require a professional safety plan. You do not have to manage a high-risk separation alone. The goal is not to erase this person from your memory. The goal is to stop treating every memory as a command to return. No contact begins as silence between 2 people. But eventually, it becomes the moment when your own life becomes audible again.